Welcome to the Especially for Athletes podcast, where we explore essential principles that empower athletes to learn life's most valuable lessons through sports.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're tackling a really important issue. Here's the question. How can student sections bring energy and passion and excitement to a game without crossing the line into hatred, disrespect, or as we call it, contempt? We encourage people to compete without contempt, and that goes for fan bases too. So you've probably seen this in the news. BYU visited the University of Arizona, won a hard-fought game there against the University of Arizona, and after the game, a student section broke out into a hateful chant, "F the Mormons." And it's not an isolated event. Many have said in the news recently that this has happened to BYU many times in their history. But also, it doesn't just happen to BYU. It happens all over the country where fan bases cross the line and begin to compete with contempt. On our podcast, Snow College head coach Zach Erickson shared an experience from his own playing days. Every time he went to the foul line, the crowd chanted Oreo at him because he's half white and half black. And let's not forget how referees are treated. Whether it's a missed call or just a close play that doesn't go your team's way, officials often face brutal treatment from fans. So today we're going to talk about what it means to compete without contempt. And we'll share some practical tips for student sections on how they can be an engaged, exciting fan base without crossing the line. We're also going to talk about how athletes themselves can set the tone for their fans. So let's dive in. The first tip that we have for student sections is simple. Focus your energy on cheering for your own team, not against the other team. Too often, student sections get caught up in heckling opponents, taunting referees, or even making things personal with individual players. But the best fan bases bring energy to their own team. Think about it. When a home crowd is loud, positive, and relentless in their support, it creates an environment where athletes thrive, especially the athletes of the home team. It gives them confidence. It makes the game more fun, more exciting. So instead of focusing on tearing the other team down, focus on building your own team up. Here's a few ideas that other fan bases have done that help with this. Chant players' names after big plays. Start cheers that encourage hustle, defense, and effort. Create traditions that unite your crowd and make the arena electric. Look at places like Duke's Cameron Crazies. They are known for their creative, coordinated chants that energize their own team rather than attacking the opponent in a hateful way. Be that kind of a fan base. Focus all of your energy toward your own team. Come up with traditions and chants and positivity toward your own players. That is tip number one. So here's tip number two. Another key principle is this. Noise is not disrespectful, but personal insults are. There's nothing wrong with being loud, making it hard for the opposing team to communicate, or creating an intimidating environment through pure volume. But there's a massive difference between cheering loudly and crossing the line into personal attacks. Mocking someone's race, religion, or family, unacceptable. Making fun of an injury, completely out of bounds. Calling out an opposing player by name with cruel insults, that's not competition, that's contempt. Look, great athletes thrive in hostile environments, but that doesn't mean fans should make things personal. Your team doesn't need you to hate the opponent. They need you to love them and to lift them. So ask yourself, is my energy bringing excitement or just tearing others down? Now let's talk about you athletes for a second. Athletes, what can you do to encourage your fan base to compete without contempt? Whether you realize it or not, athletes set the tone for their own fans. If you argue every call and show disrespect to officials, your fans will think that's okay. If you trash talk opponents with hatred, your fans will follow your lead. If your celebrations are aimed at making the other team look stupid, your fans will follow your lead. If you play with intensity, but also with class and sportsmanship, once again, your fans will follow your lead. So here's the challenge, athletes. Respect the game, respect the opponent, respect the officials, and encourage your teammates to do the same. Because if you compete without contempt, your fan base most likely will as well. So let's wrap up this short episode to the fan bases. We love this quote from G.K. Chesterton. A true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. Love your team. Love your community. Love each other. Love your school. Don't hate your opponent. Compete without contempt. Student sections bring passion, bring noise, bring the energy, but never cross the line into hate. Cheer for your team, support your athletes, and make the game better for everyone. Athletes set the standard. Play with class, play with intensity, and show your fans how to compete without contempt. If you have found this episode valuable, please share it with a teammate, a coach, or a fan. Let's make sports an environment where competition and respect can exist together. Until next time, bring the energy, lift your team, always compete without contempt, and as always, keep your eyes up and do the work.
Thank you for joining the Especially for Athletes podcast. To learn more about Especially for Athletes organization, get a copy of our book, The Spotlight, or to bring our program to your team, school, business, or organization, visit us at especiallyforathletes.org.